All right, so you ready to do some serious sleuthing today?
Always up for a good mystery.
Perfect, because today we're going to try to unlock the secret behind a real enigma.
Oh, intrigue already. I'm
And
in.
we're talking Agatha Christie.
Ah, the queen of mystery.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Her books have sold like over 2 billion copies.
That's just mind-boggling.
It is. She's the best-selling fiction writer of all time.
Yeah.
But what makes her stories, tick? What is it about Agatha Christie that keeps people coming back for more, even after, what, a century?
It's a great question. And, it's funny, even her own life has this sort of mysterious aura around it.
Really?
Yeah, she had what seemed like a really normal, typical Victorian upbringing, late 19th century England.
Okay.
Born in 1890, loved books as a kid, wrote her own little stories.
Pretty standard for an author, you'd think.
Right, but to go from that to the best-selling fiction author of all time, there's got to
know.
be something more, right?
Definitely more to the story.
There is. What's really interesting is this kind of contrast in her childhood. On the one hand, you have those traditional Victorian values.
Right.
But on the other hand, there was also this streak of quiet rebellion.
I like that. Quiet rebellion.
Yeah, and that push and pull between those two things, the convention and the defiance, you actually see that reflected in her characters.
Oh, interesting.
And in her plots, so it's like there's always that extra layer of complexity there.
And then, boom, World War I happens. Talk about shaking things up.
Yeah.
Feels like that had a massive impact on Agatha's writing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, during the war, she worked as a dispensary nurse.
A dispensary nurse. Wow.
So she's surrounded by medicines, she's surrounded by poison, she's dealing with really precise measurements, the organization of the whole dispensary.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is, right?
Like, she's surrounded by all these substances that can either cure or kill, and all the while, her brain is already starting to weave these complex webs of, deception.
Exactly. It's like those years working in the dispensary really planted the seeds for those intricate plots that she became so famous for.
Yeah, I can see that. And of course, we can't talk about Agatha Christie without mentioning the mystery surrounding her own life.
Ah, yes.
The divorce, that whole 11-day disappearance.
Like a real-life Agatha Christie plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? Is it overblown? Does focusing on that mystery actually kind of overshadow her incredible achievements as a writer?
I mean, the disappearance is definitely super intriguing. It captures the imagination, but it remains unsolved even today.
True.
The whole thing's a bit murky, and honestly, I do think, focusing too much on it could take away from her amazing work.
Yeah, makes sense.
But what's really important to note is that Agatha, she channeled all of these difficult experiences.
Yeah.
The heartbreak, the uncertainty, the divorce, the disappearance. She poured all of that into her writing.
Really used it as fuel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It actually gave rise to some of her most powerful novels, the ones that really delve deep into psychology.
It shows her resilience, for sure. So let's talk about the writing itself. I'm just blown away by her ability to create such compelling characters.
Right.
And those intricate clockwork plots where everything fits together perfectly. How did she do that?
Well, I think her understanding of human nature was absolutely key. And remember her time as a nurse?
Yeah.
That gave her this really sharp insight into human psychology. She saw how people behave under pressure, how they hide their true motives.
Oh, interesting.
So in her books, the characters aren't just, there to move the plot along.
Right, they're not just pawns.
No. They're grappling with real emotions, jealousy, greed, repressed desires, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
That's what makes them so timeless and relatable, even today.
Yeah, totally. And she created some iconic characters like, come on, Hercule Poirot.
Oh, yes. The ultimate detective.
So meticulous, a little bit pompous, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. But that's part of his charm. And, Poirot and his whole emphasis on those little gray cells, it reflects the growing interest in psychology at the time, early 20th century.
Ah, that makes sense.
And then you have Miss Marple.
Oh, Miss Marple, the seemingly harmless little old lady.
Exactly, but she's so sharp, she observes everything, nothing gets past her, and because people underestimate her.
Yeah, right.
She's an older woman, they don't expect her to have that kind of insight.
She uses it to her advantage.
Exactly. She sees through all the facades, all the, the politeness of society, and exposes that darkness lurking beneath.
Especially in those seemingly idyllic villages.
Oh, those villages, full of secrets. And that's what's so brilliant about Agatha Christie, right? She takes these ordinary settings.
Ordinary people.
Exactly. Ordinary people. And she uses them to explore these really dark, complex corners of human nature. And you can't forget, she achieved all of this as a woman in a field that was, and let's be honest, still is, dominated by men.
Oh, for sure.
Even by today's standards, that is incredibly impressive.
Absolutely. She broke the mold, paved the way for so many other female writers. Her influence goes way beyond just, the world of books.
Oh, absolutely. I think she's such an inspiration, a real testament to the power of, talent, determination, following your passion.
No doubt. And to this day, her work still resonates with audiences. I mean, look at The Mousetrap, longest-running play in history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we love mysteries so much? Especially hers.
Mysteries tap into that natural curiosity we all have. It's that desire to know what happened, who did it, to solve the puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a good puzzle. They challenge us to, think critically, question our assumptions. And just like in Agatha's best mysteries, in real life, those unsolved mysteries, they leave us wanting answers.
Craving that resolution.
Exactly. But I think it's more than just, wanting to know who did it. We want to understand the chaos of the world. We want to make sense of things. And that's what a good mystery does.
So, Agatha Christie's journey. It wasn't just about writing these clever novels. It was about personal growth, resilience, really understanding what it means to be human. And she had this incredible ability to transform the ordinary into something extraordinary.
Yeah.
To create characters that feel real, that you can connect with, to build suspense out of the everyday things that we all experience. That's what makes her such a master. And, here's something to think about. I bet you have a favorite Agatha Christie novel, right?
Oh, of course.
Think about why you love that specific story. What is it about the setting, the characters, maybe even some tiny little detail that just pulls you in? It's probably something more than you realize.
I like that. A little mystery to leave our listeners with.
Exactly. It's the Agatha Christie way.
Indeed.